Hello and welcome to everyone across the nation joining today's workshop on how to generate basic reports using TOPS Pro Enterprise Online. This is an extended session to provide details about additional reports and their purpose. Agencies primarily using the online system for web-based testing have access to basic reports, whereas a TE license is required for enhanced access to all reports. Not all users have access to TOPS Pro Enterprise. It is the TE Enhanced or ET, short for ETest's basic user at your agency, or in other words, the data manager at your agency, or the person who manages your online data specifically, who has rights to grant or deny access to TOPS Pro Enterprise. CASAS only provides coordinator and or proctor access to ETests with authorization from the agency, and it is up to you, the agency, to decide who you will allow access to TOPS Pro Enterprise. Now, folks, this is one of 23 complimentary online implementation workshops. You are not expected to attend all workshops. This is a training room set up to conduct all 23 within the set. We highly recommend attending as many workshops as possible to learn about best practices, ask questions, and to become confident in using the online system. Online help documentation is available on our website under Training and Support, ETest Help Documentation, as well as TOPS Pro Enterprise Help Documentation. You will want to bookmark these as your electronic go-to resources, particularly the CASAS ETest Online Guide, which provides information covered in these workshops. Today's workshop will cover sections 9 and 10. Yesterday was an introduction to generating reports where we covered section 10, and I will incorporate aspects from section 10 as I further demonstrate additional reports available to you, and as well as section 9. Folks, we also have sample reports available on our website under Training and Support, TE Help Documentation, and let's see. Oh, excuse me. I always go there looking for sample reports, but actually the sample reports is under TOPS Pro Enterprise. I'm going to click that link, and sample reports. So there are quite a lot of additional sample reports with a brief description of the purpose of that report. I will be generating some reports live, and we can talk about those. And I encourage you to, folks, to ask questions along the way. Please don't be shy. And if you are equipped with a microphone, go ahead and project your voices into the meeting room. I will be monitoring the chat box throughout today's workshop, so please feel free to type in any questions you may have in the chat box. I don't see questions throughout the workshop as interruptions. I see those as opportunities to bring clarification to the information that I am sharing and for what I am demonstrating for you. Okay, before we get started, I want to be sure that you are all fully aware of what we call our production server. This is where you will be producing live data once your agency is set up with an online database. That URL is etestsonline.org, and I'm typing that into the chat box prefaced with production server. That compared to the simulation server that we provide to you for in-house training purposes or individual training. It gives you access to the identical application, both CASAS ETest as well as TOPS Pro Enterprise, so that you can experiment and explore without any risk of compromising your live data. The Rolling Hills Adult School database refreshes nightly so that you are assured of working with a fresh database at the beginning of each day. So don't feel as though you're going to mess anything up. Okay, alrighty then. Now with that, folks, we're going to go ahead and get into today's workshop. We have a lot of information to cover, a lot of examples to show you. And here again, I encourage and welcome questions throughout today's workshop. So let's go here to the simulation server. For those of you who have been with us in the transitioning from, and I'm going to pop back over here, transitioning from the eTest Online workshops now to primarily working in the TOPS Pro Enterprise Online database, the data management side of the online system. All online users have access to TOPS Pro Enterprise Online. It depends on your implementation of the CASAS Online system that dictates what is available to you. And let me just pop over here under Software and CASAS eTests. Under Features and Reports, there is a document titled Assessment and Database Management Features, as well as Basic Reports. So folks, if you are an agency primarily using the online system for web-based testing, then you have basic access. So this document here lists the basic reports automatically available to you. You have access to Enterprise to manage your data, and then here, this document here will give you a side-by-side comparison of the basic version or basic implementation compared to the enhanced implementation. Enhanced, we are going to be going into reports that are only available to enhanced users, but at least for those of you who have opted to go with the basic implementation, it introduces you to what is available should you choose in the future to go with the enhanced version. Now, to access TOPS Pro Enterprise Online, as a refresher, you have three methods for accessing TOPS Pro Enterprise Online. If you already have your web browser open to the CASAS eTest server, then you can click the TE Client link in the upper left corner to launch your enterprise client on your local machine. Another option is to click the icon that is placed on your desktop when you first install TOPS Pro Enterprise. A third option, and I'm going to open up my web browser again, is down here in the system. We call this a system tray, and I make good use of my system tray. These are applications that you see that I routinely access and use throughout the entire workday. So it is efficient for me to drag a copy of the shortcut to my system tray so that I have the liberty of keeping screens open on my desktop, and then I can click TE from the system tray. So those are three options, whichever you feel most comfortable with in accessing TOPS Pro Enterprise. Please be mindful of the server for which you are attempting to connect. We are going to be connecting specifically to the simulation server. So we have that displayed there. The agency ID is 4908. And those of you who are not aware of how to access the simulation server, we do have information on our website under Training and Support, eTest Help Documentation, Getting Started, and then here is a copy of the simulation server. In fact, what I'm going to do is just paste this into the chat box so you have the link directly to that document. The simulation server has 50 generic user account logins, 50 administrator accounts, 50 coordinators accounts, 50 proctor accounts, and 50 teacher accounts. So you have a lot of flexibility in how you would like to conduct your in-house staff training on accessing and using TOPS Pro Enterprise Online. And you can also use the coordinator and proctor user accounts to access and do training with CASAS eTest Online. And this is only on the simulation server. Oops. Oh, yeah. Whoops, sorry, I had my caps on. So it is case sensitive, folks. Alrighty now. Okay, so we're going to go right back to reports. This is the heart of today's workshop. And just as a quick refresher, in some of the reports, and then we're going to go into generating some of these reports. As mentioned yesterday under test results, I demonstrated an individual skills profile report as well as a student competency performance report. These two reports are valuable to learners to better understand their strengths and areas of need and evaluate how well their class or program provides them the tools they need to enhance progress. Teachers can evaluate class progress, maintain student profiles, and develop a curriculum for future instruction by generating a competency performance summary report of a group of students currently active in their class or in their program to target instruction. You can do likewise on the individual skills profile summary of a group of students, as well as content standards summary, learning gains, teachers to evaluate the progress between first and last test or first and high test or any type of combination, test results profile or test response class profile, and also a student test summary report. Now over here under data management, this is primarily dedicated to database managers to ensure the validity and reliability of the database and identify inconsistencies. And we are going to touch on the data integrity report here. Folks, administrators can evaluate agency and site-wide progress and verify that their agency is meeting federal and state accountability requirements, either through state reports. Now we have California here, but primarily federal reports here to monitor the data collection efforts of the local agency and kind of monitor the pulse of the programs that they offer. Included with purchase of online test administrations, as mentioned earlier, are the basic reports, which includes all reports under the CASAS ETests menu, and then I'll report out a few of the other ones as we go to them. I'm going to demonstrate here a next assigned test report to emphasize that the online system is fully automated to assign the next test for all students based on their prior test results that are present in the online database. Now folks, if you are a CASAS user and you are at that point of transitioning to CASAS, we can assist you in preparing your online database to contain results of the last test students have taken so that the next test a student takes is online. The next assigned test report, and what I'm going to do under general settings is choose to alphabetize this report. I'm going to mimic generating this for a class based on class enrollment. And now I'm going to go to the report setup navigator to specify the targeted population. And I'm going to deselect all classes and only select the class for which I am generating this report. So I'm going to generate a reporting session with options to print or export as a PDF and attach to an email and send off to the instructor. This next assigned test report, now you can increase your screen display by unpinning the navigator. You also have options to split the pages on your screen, as well as add thumbnails to your screen so that you can quickly toggle through the various pages. Looking at this report, the classes identified in the header of this next assigned test report. Let's go back up to the beginning of the alphabet here. Students are listed alphabetically, and I did that intentionally. This will show you the class in which a test form was administered. Now, folks, assigning a class to test records is not necessary to do in order for students' results to be included in class-based reports. So just to let you know that. So this combined columns here is information about the last test. So here are the dates of this last test the student took, the forms, the CASAS levels, raw score, scaled score, and the available test forms for the next assigned test. These are forms available per test series. And of course, the student will not take 2 reading tests as it displays here. It depends on how your testing session is configured, whether you chose the Life and Work option 1 series of test forms, option 2, or option 3. If you chose option 2 or 3, then the student will be only presented with form 185R. Okay, folks, you have the option to override any next assigned test, and overriding tests is done in CASAS ETest Online, and we're thinking about adding a workshop on that, so hopefully we'll have that and perhaps available in the next set of workshops. So that is the next assigned test report. Folks, and as mentioned in the previous workshop, you can print this report. Printing the report will do just that, of course. You can export this report. The default is as a PDF. You can change the file type as you export that report, as well as you can, let me cancel this here, you can keep the reporting session. And for right now, I am going to keep that. And that closes that screen, and now I'm going to close this tab here. I'm going to now go into the personal score report to give an example that the end test report that displays at the end of test administration is retrievable. A copy of that is retrievable through the TOPS Pro Enterprise database. So let's say I have a student, I have active testing going on for the current day. You can bring this up to, say, the current day, and let's just take our chances here with this fictional database and see what kind of, I can open the date parameters or contain the date parameters to the current date, and let's say that Dora got out of her, exited the screen before printing the report, and let's say you're an organization that opts to display the report as well as print the report, and you have some use for that report. So here you can be logged in or connected to the online system, both CASAS ETest as well as TOPS Pro Enterprise simultaneously. Pop over to Enterprise, bring up the personal score report, select your student, and generate that report. I'm going to unpin the Navigator, and as you can see here, the same exact information that displays in the header, the scaled score, and the descriptors. These are this is the identical information that, let's fit the page here, that also displays on the end test report through the CASAS ETest application. So here again, you can print or export this. I'm going to keep this report and go ahead and get out of that tab. Let's quickly go into ETest Administrations. This is one type of report, and I'm going to specify site and generate this for the current program year. This is a way for you to, one of the ways for you to monitor your online test administrations. Notice here I've opted to do it for the agency, for Rolling Hills Adult School, and the different sites, the number of administrations per month per site, and the total. Let's go ahead and keep this report. And the WTU Balance is a similar report. We won't go into that. Now let's take a look at demographics, a demographic summary report. And in general settings, what we'll do is we'll add a chart to that display. And I'm going to go ahead and generate that report. So if you are opting to collect demographics, you can do that easily through the CASAS ETest user interface. It can also be manually input into your database or scanned in through an entry record. But notice the type of information here that you would be able to glean for your agency at any point in time. The age range of students, current program year to date, along with the corresponding chart, those with highest degree or diploma earned. Let's see, your highest diploma in U.S. and highest diploma out of the U.S. Okay, you have broken down into gender, highest year of school completed, ethnicity, race, native language, and that's it on the demographics. So this is a nice report that you could generate whoops, I'm sorry, I'm going to keep this reporting session and share that type of information. Program outcomes, their enrollment, as you see, entry and update summaries, labor force. Let's take a look at the labor force summary report, because some of you are operating workforce development programs, and let's just go ahead and generate this report for the current program year. And as you can see here, these are the the two primary types of labor force status reported on NRS federal tables: get a job, retain job. And you can see here the type of data collected for students who qualify for NRS reporting. Let's go ahead and keep that report. Let's see, Lisa, can you filter by EFL completions? Oh, Lisa, I'm so sorry. I went off of one of the reports. What report was that for? My apologies for missing your question there. Oh, the demographic summary. Let's see, for EFL completions, that would be special options here, and I don't see it listed, but that is something that we can take to the development team or the program manager and see if that is something that could be incorporated in this type of report. Thank you for mentioning that. Let's go in, okay, program outcomes. Now, program outcomes is, these are enhanced reports, demographics as well as program outcomes, so these are not available for basic users. Test results, skills profile, and competency performance reports are available to basic users. However, these content standards is not, but I will show you an example of a student content standard performance report. And I'm going to pick a specific student and only generate one report for a specific student. I'm going to use Trayla Ford as my example and generate this report. This is similar to the student performance by competency report. However, it's much more comprehensive, as you can see. You still have the CASAS competencies along the upper right here, and then you have those competencies as they are coded to these content standards categories. And you can see that the number, percentage of correct, percentage with no answer, or percentage answered incorrectly. The solid dots are correctly answered test items, and the X's are incorrectly answered test items. The dashes are no responses. So this is an interesting report. It'll take a little to digest the information available on that. Learning gains report. There are several options, folks, for learning gains, and we're not going to go into that right now, but content standards and learning gains are available for enhanced users. Test response is available to basic users, as well as test history or student test history summary, and this is a popular report worth demonstrating. I'm going to list students alphabetically by class enrollment, and now I'm going to target my class. And generate this report. Now, folks, you can, as mentioned earlier in when we were getting started, is that you have full control over who you allow access to your TOPS Pro Enterprise database. We highly recommend and encourage you to train your teachers, grant them access to TOPS Pro Enterprise Online, albeit perhaps in just a read-only ability to access their class-related information. In other words, to see the students that are actively enrolled in their class and to generate reports for their own class. This is one of the reports in addition to those individual student performance competency reports or content standards reports. This is a student test summary for a specified class, low beginning for Elisa's class here. I've opted to alphabetize this report. Shows the student's name and ID. Now, of course, you have total options to print the name with ID or without ID, and you can reverse this order as well. But this is a complete accounting program year to date of the tests taken by, in this case, Melinda Acosta in the current program year. So it's just simply an accounting here. You have your listening and reading. So she has pre and post tested, it looks like here. And then she happens to have a class assigned to those specific test records, which here again, this is not required in the online database. You have the flexibility of not having to identify a specific class for any given test. And the added benefit of not assigning a class to a specific test is because students may very well be enrolled in, say, a morning class and an evening class at the same, say, within an ESL program. Maybe they enjoy coming twice a day, or they may attend a class on one campus and attend a class on another campus. If those classes are, say, ABE classes, then a reading and math test taken at one site in that class should be applicable to the other ABE class. It is not necessary to retest students per site or per class. Test results should be shared, applied to the student for the current program year. Okay. All right, let's go ahead now. Here again, you can export this out, and so if you are an agency that prefers to generate your own reports and give them to your teachers, you can customize the title of this report, save it, and the recommendation is to go with the default of PDF, but of course you can always change the file type, and then attach that to an email and forward it on to the instructor. So here you're saving paper. Let's go ahead and keep that reporting session. I'm going to close this tab here. Now you see me closing tabs routinely, folks. I could have opted to keep all those tabs open, but for demonstration purposes, I'm choosing to have a clean slate here. But the user interface of TOPS Pro Enterprise functions like a web browser. So you notice when I make a specific selection of a report, it brings up a window with a tab. And so you know that when you are working in a web browser like this, you can have multiple tabs open and you can toggle back and forth to the various tabs. You can also delete any tabs as well. Okay, so the same concept holds true when you are working in TOPS Pro Enterprise. Now, consumer reports, we won't go into that. This is for the purpose of programs offering classes for adults with intellectual disabilities. Data management here, I'll go into the data integrity report. And folks, to ensure the integrity of your data, regular ongoing review of your data is a must. And for this, the Data Integrity Report is the go-to source for evaluating your data collection efforts. And to evaluate your efforts, agencies with enhanced access to TOPS Pro Enterprise can generate the Data Integrity Report. We commonly refer to this as a DIR, which provides an evaluative tool with information about 22 items that are critical for state and federal reporting. So as you can see, you can identify specific programs. I'm going to keep all programs selected. In other words, I'm going to keep the general settings as is. I'm not going to make any customizations. But you can see here over under Special Options, Drop Reasons, there are different ways that you can evaluate your data. My recommendation for any report, especially as you are getting up and running with generating reports for your organization, is perhaps keep the general settings as is, at least identify the targeted population and generate the report. Once you become comfortable in generating reports and the type of information that is output on those reports, then perhaps you may want to go back, take a closer look at general settings, and see how you can alter the general settings for specific purposes. Okay, so these are the standard drop reasons for student records falling within NRS reporting. So let me go ahead. I'm just going to go ahead and generate this report here. And collapse the Navigator here. So for this report, folks, you can see that there are 347 WIA Title II funded learners, and 341 are eligible for NRS reporting. 6 are concurrently enrolled. Now, folks, as I've been pointing to various cells on these various reports, you may have wondered why certain cells become highlighted. And this is the report I generally reserve to demonstrate for that purpose. So, as mentioned just a moment ago, that there are about 22 items critical for state and federal reporting. So for example, on the very first one, missing date of birth, so hovering over that cell, this represents drill down functionality. All reports that I've demonstrated so far offer some type of drill down functionality. So whenever you hover over a cell and that cell highlights, by single clicking on that cell allows you to drill down, and I'm going to double click on this particular student. This allows me to drill down right down to that student's student's record. You can access some of her records here from the Navigator, but I'm going to actually take it a step further and go right to Autumn River's demographics record by clicking on this link. And this is her record, and keep in mind that Autumn River was missing a date of birth. You can edit that information right there on the spot, and I can go ahead and now perhaps enter, after referencing, of course, what her date of birth may be, and save that record. I can go back to the Data Integrity Report, and actually regenerate. I could regenerate the report if I wanted to make sure that now there is no longer one person missing a date of birth on that report. The report generator will keep your different reporting sessions. Notice this first reporting session, the report is still retained, and notice we had one student missing date of birth, and now we regenerated that report after correcting that report, or correcting that student record, and now there are no longer students missing date of birth. So you can see the type of information here, missing hours of instruction. Here again, this is another good reason to allow your instructors access to the online system for the sole for an added purpose of recording instructional hours. Hours of instruction can also be imported into the online system through from a third-party registration and attendance system. If you are an organization that has routinely been tracking student hours on simply an Excel spreadsheet, that information can be applied to an importable file and imported into the online system as well. So we can assist you in that type of, we can provide assistance in that manner. Here is no gender. Here again, folks, you can drill down and correct that record right then and there. No ethnicity or race. Let's see, many of you are operating a workforce training program, so you may be interested in records missing a labor force status. So here we have 107 students missing labor force status. You can single click on that and produce a list right then and there on the spot of all 107 students missing labor force status. This can be let's see, we have North Campus, we have different campuses here. So you could actually, let's say we want to give the North Campus, whoops, okay, I guess I can't do it in that way. So let me clear that filter there. I was hoping to, yeah, we can either sort to provide this to a specific campus, ideally, and that was my error here, ideally you would want to select perhaps the site, location, and allow them to clean up their records accordingly. But at least in this case, this shows you that you can glean a list without hunting and in your database for students missing labor force status. I'm going to go back to my report here. Let's see. And then another key area is either no pre-test or no post-test. Folks, I would put into practice if at all possible within your organization, is to not put in place a process of entry into your programs to where students are not allowed entry into a class or a program until you have acquired a pre-test. So in that sense, there technically then should be no student record in your database missing a pre-test. The online system through CASAS ETest Online allows you to streamline the intake process with a locator plus pre-test in one sitting, and you place the student at an instructional level based on the pre-test results. If you are assessing in more than one modality, place the student at an instructional level based on the lower scaled score of those modalities. Okay, then you have missing post-test. So if you are preparing for post-testing and you want to have here again a list of students, you can drill down and generate a list of students missing post-test. Let's see here. So you can see quite a lot of areas that you can use and target for cleaning up your database. There are some areas, folks, where it's totally understood. It's not necessarily indicating an area that needs attention, such as total employed. You have 93 student records out of 341 eligible students that are employed. Okay, so this is a way that you can glean a list of all students employed in your database. For that matter, let's go right back up to this labor force summary report. And notice these cells are drillable also. And so you could here drill down to all students, or if you're targeting students who are unemployed, perhaps, and want to provide additional assistance for these students, you can do so in that manner. Okay, let's go ahead and keep our reporting session for the data integrity. Folks, if you have a lot of tabs open and you want to clear everything all together, you can go to the Pages button and click Close All Pages. Now let's go back up to Reports and let's see. So we were in Data Management, Data Integrity. There are additional reports. Let me just pop over to the website, folks, because under the Training and Support, TOPS Pro Enterprise Help Documentation, we have several methods for monitoring the integrity of your data. So under this Data Integrity Report, DIR section, you can see several types of documents here, particularly this cleaning up your data integrity report. This goes field by, or line item by line item that introduces or identifies that item and where to edit in TOPS Pro Enterprise, and it goes field by field. So you may want to, and it's also peppered throughout this entire document, what line items are required for federal reporting. And then you also have drill down options. So there are a lot, there are more drill down features available to you than what I am demonstrating today. So to understand those types of options, you may want to visit these tables here, or these documents here. Sorry about that. Now let's touch on federal reports, NRS federal tables. I touched on this very briefly yesterday. You can generate this program year to date. This will generate all 12 Fed table reports in one lengthy continuous report. You can also select report selection and specify a specific report that you want to generate for your program. Okay. This is a report routinely used and for monitoring how data is reflected. So it's an evaluative tool for you. What I'm going to do actually for your benefit here is to direct you to NRS Federal Reporting in the TOPS Pro Enterprise Help Documentation. And NRS Reporting Tables Overview. You'll want to grab a copy of that. And let me just put that in the chat box here. And let's pop down to the examples that are included in this document. Each table is explained, as you can see here, how to read this report. And let's go to, well, here's table 4B, or 4, excuse me, 4 and 4B. And there's a lot of information, and not everyone participating in today's workshop, I understand, is reporting to the federal government, and so I don't want to spend time explaining in detail these reports, but I simply, those that this applies to, you will definitely want to review this information in detail. We have workshops available under TOPS Pro Enterprise. for, let's see here, let's see if I can find here, data integrity. So there is this is open nationwide. There is an overview and interpretation of the data integrity report, as well as NRS reporting, overview and interpretation, as well as NRS reports drill down. So these are very popular, very beneficial workshops to add to workshops that you are participating in. And definitely worth, these are also open nationwide, so please see if you can't work those into your schedule. For the federal tables reports, maybe I'll pop back over here real quick. Let's see, do I still have that report open? I hope so. Okay, that for students to appear on here, every learner must have an entry enrollment into one of the adult education programs, such as basic skills, English as a second language, or adult secondary education, or high school diploma or high school equivalency programs. Learners must have a minimum of 12 hours, of 12 instructional hours, and that's recorded in TOPS Pro Enterprise. So this is one of the reasons why I have given you a broad overview of the reports that are available in Enterprise to show you the capabilities or the type of data that the online system can contain. The recording of instructional hours is one of them. Learners also must be at least 16 years old and less than 110 years of age upon entry into a program. They cannot be concurrently enrolled in high school or K through 12 system. Learners who indicate a work-based project, they will be dropped from the Fed tables. So you'll want to be careful to only select ABE, ESL, high school diploma, or high school equivalency instructional programs for NRS reporting. All right, folks, believe it or not, let's see, let's just, I do have a few more things. That's the extent of the reports, and I'm going to keep this session actually here, that I wanted to show you. And I also now want to show you the Reports Manager. You notice that I opted to keep the reporting sessions. By default, all reports that you generate are not automatically saved unless you specify to keep the reporting session. So this is a, you can call this your virtual file cabinet, and it's called a Reports Manager. This Reports Manager contains all of the reports that you saw me generate today, so that you can go back to any of these reports. I'll use the Data Integrity Report, for example, and no matter what day and time in the past that this report was generated, you can double-click to open that report, and it opens identically to the day that you generated it. It still retains all of this drill-down functionality. So this is a very, very nice feature for you. You can also manage your reports. You can delete reports, and then you also can export these reports from the Reports Manager. And one of the benefits of customizing the titles of your reports is, notice here that all reports have their generic titles. So if you are generating reports, say, such as an individual skills profile report for a specific student, then you would be inclined to perhaps add the student's name in the general settings of that report. And if you recall, all reports, when you open them up, have the session name right at the very top. to draw your attention to that so that you have the opportunity to customize the title before you generate the report. If you customize the title, generate the report, then it will be saved in your reports manager with that specified title. Okay. You can also select the different sites and see reports generated and saved at the different site locations. Now, another feature that we incorporate with reports is a report locator wizard. If you, after you become comfortable and confident in generating reports, well, maybe not confident, but comfortable in generating reports, and so that you get to know the reports and the type of reports that you would routinely generate, then you can, such as maybe a next assigned test report, I'll go ahead and add that to my reports. Let's say, now you can scroll through this, or you can type a name of a report if you're not quite sure. Let's say student competency performance or competency performance summary. I'll say I'm doing this as if I'm a teacher, and these are going to be reports that I would routinely generate. So next assigned test, so I always know what my students will have next, a summary report so that I can target instruction, and perhaps a test history report. And let's see, where is the test history? Let's see, it should be on here. Let's see, I missed it somewhere here. Well, you know what, I'm going to select this one here. It is here, but for sake of time, I'm just going to select this because I want to show that one to you also. So let's say that I've chosen reports that I would routinely generate. So I'm going to close this. What that does, folks, is it now adds my reports. These are your shortcuts to your favorite reports, or your reports that you are most likely to generate on a regular routine basis, rather than having to wade through all of these types of reports that are available in all these, navigating through all of these menus. So you can go directly to my reports, and I'll end with this in giving this example. This report, folks, by the way, is available to anyone. It just happens to be under State Reports California, but it is available to enhanced agencies whether you are in California or not. It's one of my favorite reports. I'm going to alphabetize this list. So what this report will do is it is going to combine the student test summary report with a learning gains report. So it's essentially two reports folded into one. So now you can see here, it lists the students, and I chose the same class, and if you'll probably recognize Melinda Acosta's name here. Here's her total hours of instructions, the dates of her assessments here, and it also includes the gains, the instructional learning gains, whether she completed a level and advanced a level. These are the types of this is the type of information, folks, that is recorded in federal tables, whether students completed levels or advanced a level. The gains, folks, now this used to be for some of you who may be familiar with a 3-point or 5-point gain, typically students entering into your programs, if they have a pre-test score of 210 and less, then it was the general practice, or a general rule, I should say, is that those students with targeted instruction should be able to demonstrate a 5 or more point gain when they post-test. And students with a pre-test score of 211 and above with targeted instruction, as a general rule, should be able to demonstrate a 3 or more point gain at post-testing. So this is a good way to monitor how well students are progressing. For example, here this student actually showed a negative gain, so you may want to analyze that and maybe perhaps even compare the competencies between these forms and help to identify maybe there's a specific competency or a content standard that student is just missing. And so this will help you to really hone in on those areas of need. In fact, I meant to point out on our website here under there's instructional reports, and so there's here's samples of instructional reports and how to use these reports. There is also this it's a zip file with a PowerPoint presentation on using test results to inform instruction. So to help you make the connection between results, results and reports, or reports reflecting results to target instruction, then you may want to take a look at that and to help understand the whole CASAS system, the whole concept of assessment, curriculum, and instruction. Okay, folks, I've shown you quite a lot today, but I hope that it has truly opened your eyes to the what is available in TOPS Pro Enterprise. And I hope you are excited to use the database to monitor your program, student outcomes, program outcomes, class outcomes, and so forth. Any questions, folks? Alrighty then, well, I guess we're actually, believe it or not, ending early today. And I encourage you to join in tomorrow's workshop. Next week, actually, tomorrow is Friday, so I hope everyone has a good relaxing weekend. We're going to get into how to monitor your online test administrations, adding student records, adding test records. We'll show you ways to do this manually, importing from third party, as well as populating a template that we to turn that into an importable file. The same holds true for adding tests, merging student records. Carlos is not with us today. He was with us yesterday. He was asking about deleting records, and then also that may play a part in merging student records if you find that you have duplicated records with the thought of having to delete the other. It's not recommended to delete records. It's recommended to retain all records, of course, for historical data, and when you have duplications, to merge those student records. And then you can see the lineup of all of these other ones here. So with that, I believe I will end it with inviting all of you to our National Summer Institute. If you can join us in sunny Southern California, June 23rd through 25th, we would love to have you. Sign up for our hands-on labs for TOPS Pro Enterprise and CASAS ETest Online. There are so many workshops available. Sometimes it's hard to pick and choose which to go to, but it is a wonderful opportunity for anyone who is using CASAS. So thank you so much, folks, for your time. I appreciate it, and look forward to seeing you next week.